Well, it seems like I just made a video like this. I actually made one 5 years ago, which you can see on my playlist, Guns, God, Guns, and Violence. And this is about the Club Q shooting. And that took 5 lives and wounded 25. Now, I'm going to deal with the hate crime aspect of it later. But right now, I want to talk about the guns. And it looks like it was another AR-15, which almost all the mass shootings are done with AR-15s. AR-15s are made to kill as many people as possible in the shortest amount of time as possible. You don't need it to hunt. You don't need it for self-defense. And the thing is, what really sickens me is all the thoughts and prayers BS. Now, I'm a Christian. I believe in thoughts. And of course I believe in thoughts. But I believe in prayers. I believe in the power of prayer. But the thing is, the prayers are useless. And God believes so as well. Isaiah 1:15. When you spread out your hands, I close my eyes to you. Though you pray the more, I will not listen. Your hands are full of blood. Wash yourselves clean. Lauren Boebert, who said thoughts and prayers, and others who said thoughts and prayers. God no longer wants to hear him. You evanGUNgicals who fetishize the gun, who basically say you're pro-life, but sacrifice how many people at the altar of the NRA, the Moloch of our time. And I know, these evanGUNgicals always quote Luke 22. Say, well, Jesus wanted disciples to have guns because he wanted them to have swords. But you have to listen to Scripture in context. This is from Luke 22, 35. Now, however, the man who has a purse must carry it. The same with the traveling bag, and the man without a sword must sell his coat and buy one. It is written in Scripture, he was counted among the wicked. And this, I tell you, must come to be fulfilled in me. And that has to do with me approaching its climax. They said, Lord, here are 2 swords. He answered, enough. Now, Jesus said this before he went to the Garden of Gethsemane. The same garden where he was going to be betrayed. The same garden where the high priest's slave's ear was cut off from Peter. And where Jesus healed the slave and said, those who live by the sword will die by the sword. We are living by the AR-15 and we are dying by the AR-15. And the thing is, they say, well, the Second Amendment. You evanGUNgicals, you terrible hypocrites, you fetishize and you twist the Second Amendment the same way the worst pornographers twist the first. Now, the hate crime aspect of it. This was gay bar, a place where gays and lesbians could hang out and feel safe. Now, I've been making 2 videos, and this is, I guess, a de facto third, about why I support same-sex marriage and why I think it's biblical. I mean, it's not, like, the Bible didn't talk about gay marriage, but the Bible doesn't condemn homosexuality the way they claim. And the thing is, their hatred of homosexuality helped lead to this tragedy. So, I want to quote the scripture that they often quote with this. Leviticus 20:13 and Leviticus 18. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them shall be put to death for their abominable deed. They have forfeited their lives. In some translations, it's their deaths will be upon them. And it's mentioned again in 18. And this is where I think Leviticus 18 and 20 should be read in the same way Romans 1 is read, about cultic worship. There were 2 pagan deities, Moloch, which I mentioned the NRA, the gun, being the modern-day Moloch. Basically, Moloch was Canaanite deity that basically would favor on you, would give you good crops, would give you fortune if you killed your firstborn child and burned him alive and sacrificed him to the god Moloch. Okay. There's also Baal and Ashereth, or Astarte, or Ishtar, another Middle Eastern deity that was a fertility goddess, that people would worship her by having sex with male shrine prostitutes underneath an Asher's pole. Okay. 18:21. You shall not offer any of your offspring to the immolated to Moloch, thus profaning the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. Such a thing is abomination. And all the other verses before that, before Moloch, is about adultery and other sexual sins. Then all of a sudden, God, through Moses, brings Moloch into it. And I think that is key. Again, Bible has nothing to say on loving same-sex monogamous relationships. And the thing is, I could be wrong. I could be reading what I want to read. But if my theology is faulty, if I am sinning, my sin will result in loving, committed relationships. If you're wrong, if the theobros and the religious right are wrong, your sin is leading to death. And yes, not just shooting deaths. How many gay and lesbian and trans brothers and sisters of the faith, those who love Jesus even more than you, so distraught because they believed in God, but they were being told they can't believe in God because of who they are. How many of them killed themselves? Again, I could be wrong, but my theology doesn't kill. My theology has the fruit of the Spirit. I'm going to go with mine. God bless.